Right, I see quite a mix. Nice. That's great. So, before beginning the session, I would like to ask you folks, uh, how much is your understanding of LLMs and the world of AI? You can answer in the chat, you can unmute, no worries. Uh, I just need to know how much you guys are efficient or working or, have ideas about it. Share my slide also. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. So let's begin. When you hear SLMs, when you hear LLMs, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Right? Chat GPT, Gemini, maybe models like these, right? LLMs that provide us with a way of converting our text inputs into some sort of an output, maybe a text, maybe an image, maybe a video. Large language models have been in the market for quite a long amount of time, and we have been benefiting from it likewise, be it finishing our assignments, be it completing a production pipeline, be it writing code for your company. LLMs have been there benefiting us for nearly what, 3 4 years now. Recently, GPT-5 launched, and how many of you here liked GPT-5? Any reaction, anything? Did you guys try? Did you guys test it out? Okay, so okay, I see 2 3 people. How did you like it? What was your reviews? You can unmute and speak. That's not a problem with me. Okay. Nothing in the chat. Cool. Right. I personally did not like GPT-5 that much. It consumes a lot of tokens, and I don't find it very useful. All right. So, quick introduction. Hi, I'm Gaurav. I am a full stack engineer at Truxt AI. Previously, I worked in Qualcomm AI as a front end engineer. I was the ex lead of GDSC Techno India University. I volunteer and help out at Cloud Kolkata sometimes. I'm a public speaker and, well, I like to draw sometimes. So, let's begin with the today's talk. What are small language models? Often we have heard that bigger is better, you know, in most scenarios of our life. Uh, but in the world of LLMs, there is something which is called fit for purpose. For example, right now, all the LLMs that are available to us, they are very generic. They are very, uh, you know, very high in their parameters, and in that manner they can answer a lot of questions across various fields. You can start from asking, hey, can you write a horoscope for me, to asking it to solve your assignment for you, to creating an image. LLMs can do a lot of things, but with all of these things that LLMs can do, there comes a cost behind it as well. If you are a student, you might not be able to utilize the full extent of LLMs because your scopes of usage might be limited, and paying such a hefty fee for an LLM for solving maybe a small problem is not economical, it is not feasible. You might be shocked to hear that as a student, while I'm saying that you might not be able to explore the full extent of it, enterprises who always seem to handle such big use cases, they are also currently in this world not benefiting from LLMs completely. Trust me, I work in an AI company, I'm seeing the landscape, and MIT says 95% of generative AI projects in industry are failing. So there is a very big gap in understanding how LLMs are actually effective. Companies are putting in their money, companies are doing research, but turns out that most Gen AI use cases are considered to be a failure. So what is going wrong? Where are things going wrong? The first place where I saw things going wrong is LLMs can hallucinate. You ask it to give some sort of an output based on its huge amount of knowledge and training data available. It answers probably something else that I do not want. It messes up the structures, it cannot perform well on numbers, and statistics and numbers and data science is one of the most important things in enterprises. So that is why LLMs are often considered to be a failure, and that is why the industry is not quite yet accepting LLMs and generative AI projects. So, what's the solution? It is LLMs. The trade off between using generative AI is not quite good as much as the money is involved. So, using LLMs comes at a lot of cost. The solution to handling all of these scenarios is using SLMs, small language models. Small language models are usually trained on very less parameters, 1 million to 10 billion parameters, maybe, while LLMs like uh, the bigger models, so they are trained in over 100 billion plus parameters, and you cannot afford to host them on your own that easily. It comes as a very great server cost. SLMs can also run on your edge devices. While LLMs need to be always run on cloud servers where there is a high amount of resources available, SLMs give you the power due to its small size to be able to run on the client side phones, laptops, and even edge powered devices. Edge powered devices, you have seen those smart cameras, smart watches, right? So these are called edge devices, and you can use small language models in there as well. Does this mean that are their powers diminished in any format? I mean, technically, yes, because LLMs have a wide range of tokens. So that is why it is able to perform a lot of things. But when we deal with LLMs in our product does not need to work wonders. It does not need to do a lot of things at once. It just needs to perform one specific use case that we have. With SLMs, text generation, summarization, translation, question answer asking, all of these things are still possible. Yes, Kriti?
So, as you mentioned that we can run SLM on edge devices. So, it
Hmm.
means that it can run without internet because most of the edge devices don't have internet.
Correct. You are absolutely correct. So the initial amount of internet you will need is when you are downloading these models. After that, whenever you are running them on your device, you do not need internet to run them again. Okay. Uh, for the SLMs, we have got around, let's suppose, let's consider the latest model that we have, GPT-4, not GPT-5 was latest, sorry. Let's consider the previous model that we had, GPT-4, which had around 1.76 trillion parameters to it, versus Phi 3, which is 3.8 billion, or Mistral, which is 7.3 billion. So loading Phi 3 models or Mistral 7 or Mistral 7B models, yes, sir. Since these have around 3.8 billion parameters and 7.3 billion parameters, they might be a little difficult to be loaded onto someone's phone, someone's laptop, but these can easily be hosted on your enterprise's cloud server. These will come at a far lesser cost than it would take you to host what GPT-4. Talking about the neural network depth, LLMs often have around 48 plus layers. Okay, and SLMs have very 6 to 12% layers, 6 to 12 layers. And there was a paper that was released by Google when the world of LLMs was first introduced to us called self attention. We will be talking about that in the future slides. So, LLMs use completely self attention for its analysis and for its text generations, while SLMs often use other alternatives. Examples here are sliding windows, sparse attention. You might be wondering then what is the practical use of SLMs if they are like, that much small, then how can I rely on it? The trick is in optimizing. So whenever we are dealing with SLMs, we know that this model is small. It cannot perform a lot of tasks. So whatever task that we are choosing it for, the SLM has to be trained and optimized to handle that particular task efficiently. So in that manner, not only do you have a perfectionist who is less resource intensive, but you are also saving up on a lot of costs. um, you guys have participated in hackathons, right? How many hackathon participants? So in your team, there's always, this one person probably who knows everything, right? जो जिसको सब कुछ आता है, क्लाउड से लेके बैक एंड फ्रंट एंड उसको सब आता है. And then there's this guy who just knows maybe front end, me. But yeah, जो बंदा सिर्फ फ्रंट एंड उसको आता है, he does his job very good, while the guy who knows almost everything cannot deliver very good results on all the things. Maybe something he specializes in, but all the other things he around gives around 70 to 80%. So that is the, yes, Kriti is right. Jack of all trades, master of none. So that is the problem with LLMs as well. Since it has a lot of parameters, it hallucinates. It can sometimes give us wrong answers. But if you have a fine-tuned SLM that is running on your device, it is not only saving you a lot of resources, but it is also trained to perform perfectly the task that it is assigned. So once we have established that, okay, fine, with SLMs, our costs can be cut down. Enterprises ask, okay, if my costs can be cut down this much, then why can it not be cut down a bit further? So that therein comes the concept of ML on device. Having a machine learning model on your device not only saves you as a business a lot of money, but it also ensures that users' data are private. Consider this: you are making a prompt to Gemini. Ki, can you write me a love letter for my girlfriend? And by mistake, you are using your company's provided GPT model, so or a Gemini model. Next day, an email comes to you. Ki, hey, person X, I think we need to rethink our strategy with you. We have found some potential flags in your AI chat history. So can you please connect? Because आप जो मॉडल से चैट करते हो विथ योर कंपनीज प्रोफाइल, वो आपका कंपनी देख सकता है. और इवन आप अगर अपने पर्सनल चैट्स में करते हो, you don't want Sam Altman to see, that you are asking relationship advice from ChatGPT. I mean, that is not what it was made for, right? So having a small language model on your own system, which does not connect to the internet, not only gives you full privacy, but also if it is perfectly trained for that, for your purpose, then it gives you an enhanced user experience as well. Best use case that I have found so far, I have made a small demo of it. It is a chat application that loads machine learning models on your browser. So for small purposes, for small question answering, it is quite good. And अगर कभी आपको मौका मिले तो, if you are giving any online exams and you do not have internet access, you know what to use. बेनिफिट ऑफ हैविंग एमएल मॉडल्स ऑन डिवाइस इज दैट कि आपका डिवाइस का जो पावर है एज अ क्लाइंट, you are leveraging that, so you do not incur any more server costs, you do not incur a lot of enterprise level costs, so आपका business saves a lot of money as well. There are various methods to use these ML models on device. The first one, if we want to use it on a browser, there are some packages called TensorFlow Lite, Core ML by Apple, Google's ML Kit, and Hugging Face's ONNX runtime. So in the browser, if you want to use machine learning models, we can use TensorFlow.js, Transformers.js, Firebase GenKit, and ONNX.js. In this topic, in this talk, we will be primarily focusing on transformers JS. You guys can explore Firebase GenKit. Firebase GenKit also gives you the power to use Olama models directly on your browser. How many of you here are familiar with Olama? Okay. Right. Not many. Okay. So Olama gives you the power to download small models onto your computer. Models like GPT, OSS, DeepSeek, Gemma 3, Quen 3, Llama 3.1. It gives you the power to download these models onto your computer and use your terminal to chat with these. So these models, once downloaded, it does not need much more internet access to operate. And whatever chats you do, they are completely private and secure on your own laptop. Right. So I said ki we will be talking about transformers JS, right? So what are exactly transformers? I mean, typically not the Autobots and Decepticons that we know about. So transformers were a neural network architecture that revolutionized NLP and other allied machine learning fields. I did talk about self-attention, right? So Google, during its initial days of releasing about LLMs, released the paper called Attention is All You Need, where it talked about the transformer model architecture and the self attention capability. So, self attention came as a layer or an improvement over RNNs, recurrent neural networks, where RNNs used to process text sequentially. Transformers, what they do is they process text in parallel. This not only gave transformers an edge over RNN, but also made sure that the context window that transformers can hold is much more greater than what RNNs could do. So, if you have a long paragraph, the starting of the paragraph is being processed by an RNN, right? Then it moves forward, it moves forward, it moves forward. By the time it reaches the end of the paragraph to generate something, it completely forgets what was there in the starting of the paragraph. But with transformers, which uses the self attention process, it can completely remember what it had talked about in the initial phase of the paragraph. So transformers are also able to handle large the vanishing gradient problems. Yes. It can handle large data sets. Like for example, GPT-3. It was trained in on 45 TB of text. Now that I realize, most of things might have been our chats and everything. Because well, how does it answer so personalized? Right. So the self-attention mechanism, it can be understood as a context, and it understands the context and relationship between words, regardless of their position. So, for example, I had mentioned this line: "The cat sat on the mat." Right. So transformers with the self-attention mechanism not only can understand that okay, what did the cat do, but where it did. So the cat like sat, but where it sat on the mat. So this is what the transformers are capable of doing. Right, Transformers JS. So Transformers JS initially was made by a guy called Zenova. Uh, his co is online. What do you call it? Username, that is Zenova. So he is what, around 26 now, maybe 25, 26 now, maybe. So how many guys have, how many of you have heard about Shayok Paul? Anyone here? Shayok Paul is a ML engineer at Hugging Face. So he's a colleague with Zanova, and like he told me, bhai, he's just a kid as you guys are. So the entire process of building Transformers JS came from the idea of building a Chrome extension. So the story behind it is such that Zenova wanted to build a comment classifier on YouTube, But he realized that without the usage of Chrome extensions, it might not be possible. So he built Chrome extensions, but then he found out that he cannot load models directly into it. He could not, scan out and send all the YouTube comments to an LLM outside, as it would cost him a lot. So that is why he experimented with the weights of these models, and then he came up with Transformers JS. So yeah, I mean, typically when he built it, he was possibly what in his maybe in his final year or just graduated from his university. Right. Then Hugging Face found it to be too good, competing with its own Transformers package, and then they hired Zenova, and now Zenova works as a ML engineer at Hugging Face, maintaining the Transformers JS package. So this library initially was made to be a counterpart of the Python library onto JavaScript to load and support models on your browser. It can do quite a few things. Natural language processing is one of them. Computer vision is also something it can do. There are models that can help you with audio recognition, and there are also multimodal models available as well. Transformers JS uses ONNX runtime to run models in the browser. What you need to do is take your model's weights, convert it to ONNX compatible weights, and then you can just have a model that can well run in your browser. So advantages of using Transformers JS is exactly the same as the advantages of using models on your device. You have got privacy, you have got accessibility, and it is easy to integrate. Since it's a JavaScript based app, you can give it to your front end friend and say, "Hey, bro, मेरे लिए ये integrate करके देगा, एक बिरयानी खिला दूंगा." So in that way, you can easily create a web application that uses AI models on directly onto your browser. So yeah, mostly these advantages are there, but you have to be mindful of when you are particularly using Transformers JS. So your use cases are what defines what your model selection and when your usage will be. So if you have got a very fine grained and small example usage, then using Transformers JS makes complete sense. But if you are having to deal with generic data, if you are having to deal with generic purposes, in that case, using small models might not be a very good idea. So it completely depends upon your own use cases, upon your own purposes, to identify key, okay, this is when I would need a model to load on the browser, and this is when I want to use a cloud based model. uh, I made a demo. So this loads typically a chat application onto your phone or your laptop if you're using it. Yeah, it uses Genova's I guess the 5.3 model that was currently used. I don't remember. But yeah, it's an 825 MB model. So please be mindful if you're using it directly. The slides will be available to you, so you can test it out later as well. But yeah, how can you actually get started? So to convert your model to ONNX runtime, use the Hugging Face's Optimum library. It supports PyTorch, JAX, and TensorFlow models. You can easily load it up there. You can convert your weights, and then you can simply convert it to a Transformers compatible model. Then you have to write the JavaScript code for it, and then that's it. That's the small integration. So for web developers out here, any web developers out here? No one. Everyone is a data scientist. Okay, okay. Then I think we'll skip over this very quickly. You can use the Hugging Faces Transformers package, and then there's just three lines that you most likely will need. You're importing the pipeline from Hugging Face, the Transformers package. You have to tell the pipeline ki, okay, what task do you want, sentiment analysis, text to text generations, and whatever. Store that pipeline in a variable and then just print the output. Ki, okay, I love transformers, and this will give you the analysis of your statement. Cool. Since there are no web developers, I think I can skip this part. Let's not talk a lot about web workers because it will be quite difficult for you to understand right now. So yeah, here are some resources that you can use and go through to understand more about Transformers JS as well. And right. So let me quickly open up Transformers JS's website and show you the list of models available. Right. So this is the website that you can visit. Let me share the link in the chat. And here you can find that based upon the different tasks that are you can perform, text generation, image to text, image to image, you can find the different models that are currently supported. So I guess text generation has a lot of models available. So you can use something like Zenova's GPT-2. You can go ahead, it can show you a code snippet of how to use, and then it's simple, just generates the output for you. Let me try to load this. Right. So this is the website that I had made. It will now download around 825 MB of models. So it downloads the encoders, it downloads the tokenizers, and once this is done, your application will be good to go and ready to go. Web AI is something that is catching up very soon. Like there was a very good amount of traction and uh, interest on it over at Google I/O. So yeah, there are a lot of use cases that you can probably explore. Key, when should you technically use Web AI, and when you might not like to use it. When talking about benchmarkings, maybe you know, there was a comparison between the Llama 3 8B and the Llama 2 families. Mm, it turns out that in math for four shot models, Llama 3B had around 30% of accuracy, while Llama 2 had around 11.6 accuracy percent of accuracy. So Llama 2 was a 70 billion model, and Llama 3 was an 8 billion model. So Llama 3 8B giving 30% is much more, as a small model, it's a very huge achievement. So let me open up February examples. Right. If you come to Chrome's IO 24 wrap up, you will find a lot of interesting use cases that are available here. Let me share the link. So, from image segmentation, translation, token classification, and object detection. So, the concept of loading models directly onto the browser is catching up really fast. And probably it is something that is still in works. It is not yet that mature, but there are companies that are actively using it in their products. Um, Nika lovers, how many of you buy your products on Nika? No one. Okay, Kriti buys. Okay, okay. Yeah. So Nika recently had launched its on-device AI powered application or feature inside it that lets you click your picture directly into the browser, and it gives you out some outfit suggestions. So that entire feature was built by using Gemini Nano directly embedded into your browser. So if big companies like Nika are starting to introduce on-device AI into their applications, I am pretty sure that new enterprises will soon catch up and understand the appeal and understand the efficiency of uh, small language models and try to introduce or include them into their applications. So, did my model load? Okay, it's around 50%. Let's wait for some time before I can give you a small demo of that. Right. So far, any questions, any comments, or anything that you might have? If you're interested in web AI, try to follow this guy, Jason Mice. He is the web AI lead at Google with 14 years of experience, and his website is down. Okay, fine. So yeah, you can follow this guy. Very good resources he has shared, and yeah, projects he has made which are actually good. Jason Mice, wait. Okay. Let me see if I can find. Okay, so this was the demo that had caught my interest at Google I/O. Uh, this loads a 2.5 GB agent on your browser, so you might need some time to use it. The idea of this is, let's see if the YouTube video works.
Hello everyone, I'm Jason Mays, that web AI guy who makes.
Okay, so the idea behind this website is that you tell it about your flight plans, where do you want to travel, where do you want to take a vacation for, and it will automatically check through the databases that it has access to for flight paths, for flight patterns, and everything. And it will return you with suggestions that, okay, maybe these are the flights you can take. And after this, you can take a connecting flight to, place X to place Y. And in that manner, you can always, benefit from this application. So it has also got voice command activity, which is, I mean, okay, you can tell it through your audio direct through your mic directly that what you want, where you do want to travel, and the web AI agent will load everything at your fingertips without even having to send it to a very big resource intensive model.
Hey there, I want to take
Yes.
a holiday for my.
If we are using this web AI or something, does it have any GPU constraint? Like, do we need GPU or high level CPU hardware for make it work smoothly, or it just depends on the internet connectivity?
The internet connectivity, as I previously mentioned, is for downloading the model. After that, if your model does not have to make any tool calls to the internet, then it does not consider or is concerning about your internet connections at all. Regarding GPU, there is a concept of web GPUs that, yeah, I mean, if you have better devices, then your models will be able to perform better since they are directly being loaded onto your memory. But there are models that also run on your CPU as well, so you do not need to worry a lot about how your different users will perceive it. But yeah, there are some models that have a minimum requirement settings. So having an 8 GB laptop will always be better when you are trying to, make or even load websites that have all these models loaded onto them. So in here comes an interesting use case that, okay, you might argue, all right, so if I'm loading a model that is very resource extensive and uses GPUs, so a lot of people might not have, maybe it won't load up on my phone. What should I do in that case? So in cases like that, you not only can rely on the SLM alone, maybe you will need to introduce a fallback to your cloud LLM APIs, which can handle all of these. Benefit is that while you might not cut out every single amount of cost that you are incurring, but you will be able to filter out a lot. So maybe in cases where you had a small use case, suppose that while you are sending a comment to a social media website, maybe you are trying to introduce an AI model that will filter out negative comments and will block the user from sending them directly. So instead of sending these calls, sending these messages over internet, over APIs every single time, if you load a model onto your browser, it will save you a lot. But in case when the end user's computer is not capable of loading that model, then you will need to send it via an API through to your server. So this brings down the API usage by, for example, suppose by 90%. So in this manner, not only do you save a lot of money, but you also can ensure that all your users enjoy a similar kind of an application, similar kind of an user experience, where all the abstraction behind it is done by you. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I understood. Like, we don't really need heavy GPUs. We can work with small models, and we can have LLMs for backup. Like, if
Yeah,
something really. Okay, yeah, I understood that.
correct. So potential use cases in these would be if you have a model that is highly trained and fine tuned to answer maybe medical questions, right? I have seen in a lot of hackathons that people try to use Gemini APIs directly in order to answer or build an medical chatbot. Pro tip, never do that. The moment you tell a judge that you have used a Gemini API to make a medical chatbot, automatically your points go down. So even Google suggests to use specific models that are particularly trained for medical answering medical questions to be used in your applications. RAG can be used there. A RAG can be used only if you have a good amount of data set available with you. In case you do not, then you have to rely on these fine-tuned models. Otherwise, it becomes quite difficult. So medical situations are a thing where you cannot really rely on LLMs directly because, well, you know, I mean, इधर डॉक्टर्स को ही कूट देते हैं अपने AI को तो क्या ही बोलोगे. So yeah, let's see the demo for a small bit till my application loads.
Hey there, I want to book a holiday for my friend and I.
So this guy gave a voice input that he just wants to plan out a travel. He want to chalk out a travel itinerary, and on the left you can see that the model has started loading up, and it is printing out everything that it needs.
Are you departing from and when? Is that a one-way trip?
Notice passenger count set to 2, which is correct because I said friend and I. Okay, let's continue. I'll be leaving from San Francisco, but can you suggest a popular skiing destination in France? I'll leave on the 14th of February and return 10 days later.
What is your budget for this trip?
I'm flexible, just pick a good skiing location. And as you can see, it's chosen Chamonix, which is a very popular skiing location in the French Alps. We're now going to generate fictional results from a fake API call. This is actually using the LLM to do this, which is pretty cool, just showing the flexibility of this tiny little LLM. And everything's happening locally on my machine using web AI. And sure enough, European bytes, which makes a lot of sense. Actually, can you change the dates to a better time in autumn? So I'm hoping here for some date range in October timeframe, maybe. Sure enough, 10th October to 20th, perfect. And now it's going to regenerate those results. Now, as I said, all of this is taking place locally. No cloud calls are happening at any point in its demo using the power of web AI. And this is running on my NVIDIA 1070 graphics card, which is 5 generations old, and it's still really fast. By the way, can you remove any flights that are in a Boeing? So let's just see if we can refine the search results. This would be a filter in real life, of course. But here we're just going to regenerate the search results locally, but there should be a filter applied to the search in real life. Hopefully we can see now that none of the flights contain Boeing, and we just got like Airbus or something like that. Let's see what comes back. And sure enough, just Airbus. Okay, let's continue.
So this is the extent. This is a small example to prove the extent of which you can actually use an SLM on your device, which will not only help you save a lot of costs, because for example, let's consider if an actual airline was using this with their own databases at hand. So not only would it save them a lot of API calls, but it would also enable users to talk to the website in natural language. And just like in the demo that this guy is saying, okay, plan it for me in autumn. So that is why it chose a October scenario, and it said, okay, suggest me a good place in France where I can possibly stay. So it suggested the Chamonix, and well, nobody likes Boeing, so you can filter it out automatically. So all of this is possible by the use of SLMs, and see, it is very resource saving. You do not need to worry about your cloud bills going skyrocketing in order to have this application, because it directly loads onto the client's browser, client's device, and well, whatever happens there, well, is not your concern technically. But in case if the model is unable to load, then only will you introduce a fallback API that will make the call back to your server. So does that make sense? Any questions so far? Okay, no questions then. Uh, right. So you guys can unmute and ask me any questions that you have. I see reactions coming in. Thank you, but I really would be appreciative if you had any questions, any comments. Why can we not use quantized version of LLM models instead of SLMs? The problem with having a quantized version of LLM is would be that there might be a case where it is not probably fine tuned or specializing in that part. So it will give you a smaller version, yes, but it does not guarantee that it can solve your particular use case without having to hallucinate or anything. So having a highly trained SLM in that case would be pretty good. Okay, so my own demo has also loaded. So yeah, you guys can test it out on here if you want. So this is a completely web-based model that has loaded with the Zenova's Flan model. And let me ask it something. Okay, tell me why should I use ML on device directly? So this is one use case where which I will typically not recommend using SLMs for, because chatbots become pretty generic. You can ask any sort of questions, right? But yeah, even with this, you can see the amount of speed that it took. It was very fast in answering all of this without even having to stream anything. So if I were to write something, it okay, C++ code to perform bubble sort. So let's see what it spins up. But yeah, this one is not a very specialized model. It is not fine tuned. It is a generic model that is trying to answer as best as it can. Um, yeah, I mean, okay. It is kind of pretty stupid. But yeah, when you are loading SLMs on your browser, please ensure that you can use the models that are available on Transformers.js websites, but you can also convert your own specialized models through the methods that I have been talking about here with the Hugging Faces Optimum library, and then you can easily load them onto your website and use them. Yeah, this one. Kriti says privacy concerns still there. Priti, in which case do you think there are still privacy concerns?
The question which Arunima asked, that why can't we use quantized version of
Okay.
LLM instead of SLM? So LLM will be still on the cloud server, and SLMs are, in that case, I have told that privacy concerns will
Acha,
be
acha.
there.
All right. So yeah, I'll be taking questions if you guys have any, and if not, then I think we can call it a day. And it's almost an hour. So thank you for your attention. Thank you for spending your time. Okay, being a first year, I've lost many times here. I've been lost. Much wanted question I intend on asking is around what point of progress in our programming journey am I going to come across SLMs and LMs? All right. So right now, with the current market trends, AI, LLMs, these are something that you cannot, just wait around to pick up eventually. There are two things that can happen. Either you are an API caller or you are an ML engineer. So these are one of the two things that can happen to you. So if you are an API caller, if you just are comfortable like me in just including models in your applications and building applications around that, then you will not need to be very worried about when you can come across this. Whenever you learn about API callings, whenever you learn about building applications, you can easily start integrating these LLMs and SLMs into your applications. But if you are keen on becoming a proper ML engineer who builds his own models, who can understand what actually goes on behind it, so I think you will first need to go around the traditional path of learning machine learning, then going into deep learning, learning about neural networks, RNNs, and then maybe you can pick up transformers. Uh, so first identify what is the route that you are trying to take. And trust me, in today's world, it does not really matter if you are just an API caller, if you are just building applications that leverage APIs to models. You can always go around. There's a lot of resources. You can always go around trying to build your own model, and at any given point of time. But yeah, uh, basic programming is something that you will need to learn or understand first, and only then can you move into these topics. So, Amrit, does that answer your question? Okay, all right. Okay, anything else? Cool. You can ask me questions not only pertaining to this topic, but also on anything else that you have. Yeah, I might not be able to help you solve your personal troubles, but I can always help you with your career troubles, academic troubles, and all of those things.
Can we, is there any project idea which we can build in short time using SLMs?
The
Something like
best use
personal
case.
assistant or something?
Yes, that can be a very good application. Maybe you can get a small RAG-based model onto your personal website where you feed it all your documents and it can answer questions from there. That is something that you can do. Or else, what you can try out is building a model that scrapes whatever website it is put on and can answer any questions based on the available website. So that is something that you can look at. I would also recommend exploring this Copilot Kit. So Copilot Kit had a very unique feature that if you chat on it, and let's say you're on the Google Meet page, right? And you write into the chat, ki, hey, can you just end the meeting for me? So Copilot Kit will actually perform actions onto your website and go ahead, find the leave call button and click on it to exit. So I will recommend checking this out. This is something that we use in our EA as well, in our projects as well. MCP, hi Ruby, we are about to end the meeting. So I think if there's a recording, maybe you can watch it. Okay, regarding MCPs are not uh, truth be told, it is a glorified JSON object, which helps you in establishing a pathway or a protocol by which LLMs can talk to the internet or talk to different tools. So right now, MCPs, while are very good in solving small problems, I have not seen it solve very big problems in an enterprise scale. Yeah, it is good for personal projects. It is good for small in-house projects. It is good for your portfolio, but when actually building at an enterprise level, people do not like MCP. Yeah, I remember asking Sitam when Anthropic first released MCP, "Ki, bro, what do you know about MCP? My company is trying to use that." He's like, "Does your company's AI engineers know what they're doing?" I was like, "I don't know." Uh, yeah, cool. Uh, So, if there's no other questions, I think we are nearing at about 1 hour. So, can I have suggestions now to progress on coding right now, provided I have learned Java to some extent? In order to progress on coding, I would recommend try to understand that what domain is it that you find interesting. Do you find machine learning interesting? Do you find web development interesting? Android development interesting? Based on that, you need to look into the tech stacks that are there, and you can start progressing on that. If you are interested about machine learning, start off by learning Python, and from there you can slowly move into data science. Then you can understand how uh, data science, I think, is the first step towards learning, towards progressing towards machine learning. So you will need to know about that. If you are trying to go into web development, there are also fields which you need to understand. If you like front end development or back end development, if you like back end development, learning Java, since you have already learned Java, you will have some head start there. If you are going into front end development, you will need to learn a bit of JavaScript, HTML, and tools like libraries like React, etc. So I would recommend, since you are in your first year right now, explore as much as you can, attend different sessions across different topics, try talking to your seniors about who are in different field, and yeah, get a lay of the land, see which one suits you the best, and then based on that, learn the technical stacks that are available there, and slowly you can then build projects. But yeah, whatever field you choose, always remember, you need to build projects. Otherwise, you will not be progressing at a very good space. So yeah. So if there's nothing else, then I think we can call it a day. I would really recommend you guys to scan and share your feedback on this Google form. So that helps me to become a better speaker, and that helps me grow as well while understanding what it is that you guys would really want to hear, and how would you love to interact in the next or upcoming sessions and wherever you meet me. So yeah, I'll keep this slide for a moment. And yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else, Kriti, I would like to hand it back to you.
So, as I can see, half of the people have left the session. एंड आते आते लोग लीव कर गए बट थैंक यू भैया इट वाज रियली अ गुड सेशन about SLMs and LLMs, something which is quite useful for us because we can't really build a LLMs, but we can build a SLM. So this was very useful. So thank you for joining us for this event, and I would request everyone to just scan this QR and give feedback. I will also be giving this PPT to everyone who have registered in their email, or you can check our community channels for the PPT. And I think that's it for tonight. It was a great session, and make sure to you all can tag us on socials by taking some screenshots. And if you all are comfortable, then you all can turn on a video. We can take a screenshots with all the members showing their faces, and we can share that on our socials. So I would request anyone who is comfortable just turn on their videos. So, Aditya, can you take a screenshot for
Yes.
me?
Wait a second. Yeah, is it okay?
Okay, okay. I have taken the screenshot. Now you all can leave the meeting. And thank you, Bhaiya, for joining us.
Thank you so much for the invite. My contacts are there in the slides that will be shared. If you guys have any questions, you can reach out to me over LinkedIn, over email. So yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. रात ही होगी और क्या ही करोगे. ठीक है. All right. चल. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Hello, Sitam Bhaiya. Are you there? Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting that pass out will also join the session, but thank you for supporting us. Like, I think the session was great.